Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Tuesday, March 4th. We got a nice slate on tap here and we're going to dive into it all. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann at FlatTyler83 on your DFS sites and Twitter. Now come join us at LineStar $39.99 per month or jump up to the yearly option to $39.99 per year. Saves you $20 a month. Just do it. Let's go. And if you've never tried us out before, go through the app stores, Android or iOS, and you can get 7 days free. Now, let's dig into it. All right. Starting with the point guard position, our highest owned, 30% owned, is James Harden. He's 9,200. We got no Norman Powell. He is likely to play big time minutes again. Last couple without Powell, 38, 39, 36, 39. He definitely is going to play some big minutes, and he's in a good spot versus the Suns, who are 26 overall. If you look at our team defense tool for point guard, James Harden's at the very, very top, and the Suns are 29th versus point guard, just giving big boosts pretty much across the board here. So Harden is absolutely in a good spot. Next, we got Darius Garland, 7,600, 26% owned, 4.5 star alert score, and there's no Evan Mobley. So Garland gets a big boost, and he's also in a very good spot versus the Bulls. Surprisingly, without Evan Mobley on the court, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have very, very similar fantasy points per minute. They are within like 2.02 of each other on a fantasy point per minute standpoint. So why not take Garland over Mitchell in a spot where they're down one of their stars? Next, we got Chris Dunn, 5,200, 19% owned. Personally, I think he is getting a bit pricey. He's going to play some decent minutes. He's played very well lately with a solid ceiling, but I don't think that's the norm. I think his norm is mid-20s, and occasionally he'll give you, one of these jumps up to mid-40s, and he has gotten there by steals lately. Had 4 steals versus the Lakers, 5 versus Detroit, 6 versus Milwaukee, and a block, and then 5 versus Memphis. So it is a spot that he has to absolutely rely on steals and blocks. Can he get there? Yes. Is it likely? I don't think so. And I think 5,200 just taking a lot of the ceiling and safety out of it. I don't really feel like going there. Pivot-wise, Damian Lillard, 8,900, 42-point projection, 13% owned, 5-star alert score, huge pace-up spot versus Atlanta. And really where teams been getting to Atlanta, it's out of the guards and the wings positions. It sets up perfectly for Damian Lillard. One thing I do have to warn is that Kuzma started the day doubtful. He is now questionable. So that is trending towards him playing, which does downgrade this a little bit if he plays. But all in all, I think it's a very good spot for Damian Lillard, and I'm very interested in going with some. Next, I got 2 different ones that I want to talk about, and it's Jeff Doughton and Jared Butler. There's no Tyrese Maxey, and with that, there is now some room for a point guard to play some minutes. The only 2 point guards on the roster are Butler and Doughton right now. So I just put them both at 24 minutes. Really no clue what's going to happen here minutes-wise. Right now, we don't have Butler at very many minutes. No idea how many minutes he ends up playing, but he is interesting, and I wanted to put him on your radar in case there's the surprise start there. Doughton also could get the start. He's the one that's been playing more minutes the last couple games, so I think it is more likely for him to start, and I would say it seems like that from the fact that his ownership's at 11%, that more people agree that could happen. I just want to put it out there. It could be a surprise Jared Butler start, as he has had more success in the past. But do with that information what you will. Really no clue what's going to happen there. Whatever one starts, I think they see decent minutes. I would say there's an outside chance that, Philadelphia goes with a different way and doesn't have a true point guard starting. But, we'll see what they do there. It's a weird spot. Philadelphia is a little low on players. No Maxey, no Embiid. They got Grimes questionable, Paul George questionable. A lot of information needs to come out about this team today, so we're not really sure what's going on there. And lastly, Dyson Daniels, 7,800. His regular situation's not going to get there, but we got a 243.5 score here, game total, and the pace of this game is super high. 105.1 and 102.5. It's not that often that Atlanta is dealing with another team that likes to run like they do. And the games that Daniels gets there are the ones that are high scoring usually. So I think this is a prime spot for him to possibly get there. And point guard on DK. Ty Jerome, 5,100. With Mobley out, maybe he gets some extra minutes. Really not sure how many minutes to give him at this point, but he needs a lot of extra minutes to really pay off his salary and that ownership. Nembhard, 4,800. It's fine without Benedict Mathurin. He definitely gets a bump. Darius Garland, 7,500 we covered. Lillard we covered. And let's bring it on over to shooting guard on FanDuel. Bogdanovic, 4,600, 29% owned. Expectation as he slides into the starting lineup, there's no Derrick Jones and no Norm Powell, so they're going to be a little hurting on the wings, and Bogdan's been playing, decent minutes. Has several games of 30-plus minutes. He's at 0.68 fantasy points per minute, though, over the last 20 games as a starter. Not great. With the minutes that he's playing, I don't mind getting there. And his role on this team is definitely to shoot. 16 field goal attempts, 8 in only 20 minutes, 19 and 33. He is coming onto the field and onto the court and shooting the ball. So I do have a little interest. If he gets hot, he can pay it off. Chris Dunn, Nembhard, we covered. Anthony Edwards, 9,600. Definitely one of my favorite pay-up spots. This team really needs to get it going, needs to get a win. They are 14.5 favorites. And Edwards just has a huge ceiling. Julius Randle is questionable. Him being back would, hurt Edwards a little bit, but I think Edwards is fine. It's just really depends on if he's able to put the ball in the bucket, which he is about, against anybody. Daniels, we covered. LeVert, 5,600. He went nuts last game, played 32 minutes. The Hawks are in a decent spot here. The only thing here, I was high on LeVert last game, is that Niang is going to be back, so I don't expect that 32-minute ceiling to be there. I expect him to be more around 28-ish, but he can definitely get there in 28 minutes. Quentin Grimes, 6,100. Guys averaging over a fantasy point per minute without Maxey and George on the court. Those guys Maxey and Embiid, those guys are out. So he's in a decent spot here versus the Timberwolves. Last night, he got there and was shooting terribly. Only made 6 of 15 shots. So absolutely interested in Grimes, and he's putting the ball up quite a bit, which is interesting. Small forward, we got Franz Wagner, 32% owned, 8,100. Shooting guard on FanDuel, I should say. Anthony Edwards talked about him. Nembhard talked about him. Strus, 4,500. With no Embiid or no Mobley, it is a little interesting here. He got 36 minutes the other night, so that is kind of nice to actually get that type of run out of him. And now with somebody out, maybe he can get those extra minutes. If he gets the extra minutes again at 4,500, he's a steal. All right, small forward, FanDuel, Bogdan, Kawhi Leonard, and Paulo Kawhi Leonard, 8,100. He's too cheap. His fantasy points per minute has come up significantly this year with the Lakers. He's playing well. I'm going to have a bunch of Kawhi Leonard. He's in a good spot versus the Suns. While everybody, the likely thing is more people go to Harden. I kind of would rather Leonard over Harden at this price. Banchero, 8,600. Don't mind it. Edwards, we talked about. Tari Eason, I would expect to play. And he's definitely a little interesting. If he's in the starting lineup, I definitely will be playing a ton of him. If he is not, I do worry about the minutes a little bit, but don't mind playing a little bit of him sparingly. He is 6K now, so that price is getting up there, but the ceiling is still there to support it. Josh Hart, 7,900. I like this play with or without Cat playing. Cat is still questionable. I think this spot versus the Warriors is a very interesting one. I'm going to have a decent amount of Hart. And then he gets a big bump up here if Cat is out. Grimes, LeVert, we covered. Lonnie Walker, 3,900. He played 28 minutes versus Portland. Now, that was with Oubre out. Not sure exactly how that will change with Oubre likely playing, but we could be without George or Grimes. So the extra minutes and the paths to those minutes are there. The other thing, we talked about Dowden and Butler. I mean, I wouldn't be super shocked if they just started, say, Lonnie Walker at the point and let Paul George run a little bit of a point forward type situation today instead of, a true point guard there. So I think there's multiple paths to some minutes with Lonnie Walker, and I'm a little interested to go there when everybody is fading him. Small forward on DK, Franz Wagner, 8,100. I would rather Wagner over Banchero in this spot. A little better spot for small forwards than power forwards, and 8,100 is cheap for a guy that is just banking in the low 40s, but we know has a bigger ceiling. Gary Trent's a little interesting at 4K. He's been getting some minutes lately, and he has a bit of a ceiling in a pace-up spot. Power forward, Jared Allen, Kawhi Leonard, and Banchero. Jared Allen, 7K with no Mobley. I'm going to have a ton. He has a giant ceiling without Mobley, plays extra minutes, gets a fantasy point per minute boost with extra minutes. I'm going there. The chance of him hitting 40s is high, and he can absolutely get into the 50s. In a good spot, too. Leonard, we talked about. Banchero, we talked about. Therese, Julius Randle, 6,700. He played 34 minutes last game. He could absolutely play big minutes once again. He had a day rest. I would expect those minutes to be there. The only issue is they're 14.5 point favorites. So that is my only worry about Randle not getting there minute-wise. But hey, for them to go up by 15 points, the ball's got to be going in the bucket, and Randle definitely is one of the scorers there. Hart, we covered. Okongwu, 7,100. Minutes have been really nice. 32, 35, 32. If those stay there in a good spot versus the Bucks, I am absolutely interested. It is a back-to-back, which is a little worrisome, but I think Okongwu has the ceiling that we're looking for at his price. Power forward on DK, Banchero, Randle, Matthias Buzaleli. He played 30 minutes last game. I'm fine sprinkling some in. Not going to go hard on him in a game versus the Cavs, but if he shows up in some lineups, that's fine. Jared Allen, gonna have a ton. Jackson Hayes is an interesting one. He's only center eligible, which makes me not want to get too much of him, even though he is a value. But there's a chance that he plays decent minutes. 26 minutes last two games. He's just under a fantasy point per minute and in a really good spot versus the Pelicans. So I got to take some. We've seen him hit the 30s. I just don't think it's very often that he's going to get there. And that's my worry, to clog that center spot with a guy that, if he gets 30s, we're stoked. But, we could be giving up on a guy that puts up 50 for only 3K more. So I don't know if I want to give up that real points advantage, but Jackson Hayes is firmly on my radar today, and I'm going to have some. Olenek is the only person I liked from center as far as pivots on the center spot. Plenty of spots I don't mind to go. I don't mind to go to Drummond. He had a huge game yesterday. They have been willing to give him some minutes lately, so a little bit interesting. He just hasn't been able to show consistency this year, and that's my issue. Or else he would be up there. Draymond, not in a great spot, but I get it if you want to show up, have a little bit of him. You know, it's just center's kind of rough today. Center on DK. Allen, Randall, Jalen Smith. Don't really love Jalen Smith. He is back, though. Played 13 and 18 minutes. I think he could get to 20, 22 in this game. And if he goes 22 plus, he's going to dominate. But I just can't really expect that. And that's my issue with him. Randall, we covered. I love Cat if Cat's playing, but it's a big if there. Really don't know. At least it's a 4:30 game, so we should know beforehand. That'll do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys have the best of luck. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Peace!